the things that I don't like a lot about the new type of jiu-jitsu, the new style competition-oriented jiu-jitsu, is that everybody wants to learn moves, everybody wants to learn techniques, everybody wants to learn an assortment, a collection of things without paying as much attention to the movements, the basic fundamental movements that back in the day when I started 2000, 2001, was typical. You know, practice was all about learning the leverages, the physics of jiu-jitsu, the physics of grappling, not just necessarily memorizing moves. You know, do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, get a tap. It was much more fundamental. You'll see that in a lot of older school type competitors. You know, you look at the Masters competitions, you look at old school jiu-jitsu guys that fought MMA, Vale Tudo. You know, a lot of their movements are very, very basic. You know, Garcia, I know his jiu-jitsu well. He is somebody that, for some reason, took everybody down with a very basic technique. We would either sweep them or armbar them from the guard. If you swept them, it was a cross choke from the mount. Everybody knew what he was doing, but he was doing it at such an efficiency that not many people could stop it. So we're going to talk about sweeps today. All that being said, we'll talk about sweeps. One of the things I like to introduce when I'm introducing what sweeps are to people is the quadrant theory. Now, the sweep quadrants, I want you just to visualize. Do me a favor, turn that down a little bit more. I really like this song, so it's distracting me. So that's good. So looking at the quadrants, I want you to imagine, right? Well, we use this as one of the axes. We use an imaginary line here. And if we look at this imaginary plus sign, right, for all you public school education students, we're left with 4 quadrants, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Paul, I want you to come here for a second. So I'm gonna have Paul turtle position, face that way. Bring those knees past the tape. All right, so I just wanted you to, let's dumb it down a little bit, just right here. So we're gonna pretend that there's a line that goes between Paul's hands and knees. So we have one of his hands in that quadrant, one in this quadrant, one knee in this quadrant, one knee in that quadrant. So the 2 basic things we're looking to do when we're creating a sweep is to remove a post and create momentum into the quadrant where the post no longer exists, right? So we can think of these posts as sort of kickstands, right, on a bike. This post prevents him from being swept this way, don't collapse, that way, and every single post prevents a collapse in that quadrant. So if we're looking at what a sweep is never gonna be anything more than removing a post, and I want you to take this hand, put it behind your back, right? Removing a post, and then exposing his balance into that quadrant that's not protected by some sort of mechanism that creates momentum, right? So just to illustrate it, I'm just gonna push him, right? He cannot stop that. Eventually the momentum continues and he winds up being swept. Come back up. So when we look at variations of this, or the beginning of variations, the beginning of evolution of this concept, we look at chaining movements together and basically playing chess with his ability to protect his quadrants with posts, right? So I'm gonna ask you to put this hand behind your back again. So now this quadrant is exposed, but he understands it's exposed, and as the momentum starts to go that way, he's going to post his foot in that quadrant. So now we have a compensation. This quadrant is now protected, but the exposure is now towards his back, and this is where we would have to find a way to create momentum, right? So if we look at, and let's do this way now, right? We're gonna look at his quadrants, and we're gonna talk about a regular hook sweep, right? I'm gonna take an overhook, a wrist control. I'm gonna take away his post here, and I'm gonna sweep him, right? Come back. The same thing I just illustrated before. I go to do this, and now he posts his leg. What I'm gonna do is grab this leg, kill his post here, and now the sweep occurs here, right? One more time. Standing up. I'm here, and this is what starts to get a little bit more complex when we're talking about wrestling or looking to sweep a standing opponent. I still want to sweep him. If I'm going to sweep him this way and he posts, now I have the ability to expose the quadrant that isn't protected creatively, right? To get that sweep still, exposing that quadrant. So the whole thing is, it's not to say that you can't learn moves. It's not to say that you shouldn't learn what sweeps basic students learn in Jiu-Jitsu. The whole thing is you have to understand that there's a formula. And every sweep that you learn is nothing more than an application of those universal movements that everybody should be focusing on as a foundation for the Jiu-Jitsu, right? So many times people look to, especially in the beginning of their martial arts journey, their Jiu-Jitsu journey, they think when a technique breaks down, they think they need another technique. I need to learn more. I need to learn more. When in fact, it's usually the removal of mistakes that need to be made. And it comes down to not learning more, but learning what you already know better.